You deserve that shit. Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive talking nerd, John Norgrove. We've got Wife here. We're here for another review, Jive. It's Friday, so happy Friday. TGIF, if you know what I'm saying. The restaurant. I was talking about the restaurant that I don't even know exists in California.
I don't know. I've never been to a TGIF.
I've never even seen one.
I've seen...
A small part of me believes that it's all make-believe, you know? It's one of those things as a Californian when Midwesterners talk about something from the Midwest, and I'm just like, that sounds made up. I don't believe that.
Yeah. We felt that way about the Sonics commercials for a long time.
Oh my god, for so long. I've been to a Sonics in SoCal, and Sonics is bang up, but where we live, there's I think the nearest one's like an hour and a half away.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, I want some of that cheap-ass chili dogs. What's up? I love fucking chili dogs.
The commercials are great.
Yeah, they are.
I don't know if I can eat their food, but
probably not. Probably not. All right. Anywho, so this is Review Jive, and last night we watched The Darkness. Okay, so Tuesday was Kevin Bacon's birthday.
Yeah.
Right.
So we decided to watch a Kevin Bacon film.
We want to watch a Kevin Bacon film, but Tuesday was Terrible Movie Tuesday, and then Wednesday was whatever the fuck happened on Wednesday.
Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean like whatever came out on Wednesday. Oh, well, Terrible Movie Tuesday came out on Wednesday, but we were watching AEW, and I live streamed on Wednesday. Hey, watch me play this game. It's called Valhalla. It's about being a bartender in the cyberpunk future. It's very weird. I'll be up again. I don't know. Follow me. I'll show you. It'll show up. I don't fucking know. I don't have a schedule yet. I'm working on it. Anywho, so we're like, all right, we want to watch this Kevin Bacon film. Like, what do we want to watch? So we go on Netflix, we look up Kevin Bacon. There were two films we had to choose from. One was a horror movie, which is the one that we watched, The Darkness, and then the other one was some other shit. And it looked good.
Both look good.
They both look good, but we're just like, nah. I want to watch the other one's something about like criminals or something. But we wanted to watch the horror one.
One of those like cat and mouse kind of.
Yeah, like cops and criminals, psychological thriller. We wanted to watch Spoopy Ghost Monsters, so we watched The Darkness. Let me read you the bloob. Peter Taylor, played by Kevin Bacon, his wife Bronnie, and their two children return to Los Angeles after a fun-filled vacation to the Grand Canyon. Strange events soon start to plague the family, including young son Michael's increasingly erratic behavior. The Taylors learn that Michael brought back some mysterious rocks that he discovered inside a cave. Unfortunately, something followed them home as the clan now... Oof, that's weird. As the clan now find themselves in a battle with supernatural forces that prey on their worst fears. Okay,
I feel like that's
small problem.
Misrepresentative of the plot of the movie.
The family,
didn't find out until the
really
very
found out
end.
at the end. Yeah, they didn't know, or if they did know, it was just like...
And they certainly didn't know where he got the rocks.
Oh, yeah, no, fucking not at all,
yeah.
right? And a fun-filled vacation to the Grand Canyon was more like... it was like their family and another family met up for like a vacation that was really long, that they spent part of which camping at the Grand Canyon, and it was like the daughter trying to bang his friend's son.
Well, I don't know about that.
Dude, she was putting out game. She was definitely trying to game that kid. That's why she abandoned her special needs brother just on a hike. This family is
super dysfunctional.
They're so dysfunctional.
Very upper class.
It's so insane. Oh,
they're very upper class dysfunctional.
Kevin Bacon's like an architect or something. He does something involving CAD and houses and architect stuff, but without any real details.
Yeah.
He's some sort of lead guy, and his wife does something on a laptop.
We don't know what.
I don't know.
Is she a mommy blogger?
We think she might be a mommy blogger, but like... Maybe she's a web developer? I don't know. They really never express it. She mostly just bitches about not being able to do it. So, who fucking knows?
But we never actually see or understand what she's doing.
Yeah, boy.
The oldest
there's a lot
daughter
of this, by the by.
is looks like she's in probably a Catholic school.
Yeah, she looks like she's going to
a private school,
a prep school of some kind.
Yeah,
but
prep
it's
maybe.
by gender, because I think you see. Do you see? I think there's a scene where you drop off at the school and there's like boys.
Oh, maybe I don't remember.
Yeah.
And then the youngest son is autistic, and they don't actually really tell you that he's autistic until way later,
very end.
And it was very awkward in the way that they portrayed him.
Yeah, well,
because this kid never leaves the house, so he's just there with the mom.
Well, yeah, he doesn't go to school.
He doesn't go to school, so the mom is providing some sort of homeschooling to him, we're assuming, but based on the events of the movie, I'm going to say it's probably not enough to meet his needs as a special needs kid. and that's coming from someone who has never done any sort of schooling or schooling for a child or homeschooling and doesn't really have any information about how you would work with someone who is autistic. That's just me looking at this movie going
at zero point in time do you ever see the mom doing anything educational with the son.
Yeah, not at all.
Full stop. The only one of the kids who even fucking talks about school is the daughter who leaves for school and comes home from school and, has some homework and wears a uniform. But you never see anything like that in the son. And the worst part is that for the first honest to God, 3/4 of this fucking movie, alright, it's very obvious this kid is special needs, right? And, you find out later that he is. But it's very obvious this kid is special needs, but it appears as though the mom and the dad are not only not at all addressing it, right? It's just he's really weird about his bag today, so, don't touch his bag. And he's like, alright, Scout, I'm not gonna touch your bag, don't worry about it, I'm going to work, bye. Alright, I feel like we should address some of these things. So, not only do they not address any of his needs or act like anything's out of the ordinary, it doesn't appear that they're doing anything to educate. They're never taking him to any sort of help. They're, literally, when demon shit starts happening, they're like, hey, we should do something about this. And this is after, some shit has already happened, right?
Yeah.
There's a scene in this where the kid does something bad, and a doctor, some people had... Also, there's a lot of going to a hospital, I don't know, as verification that the thing that they said happened, or they showed you happened.
Yeah.
It's super weird. A lot of, doctors telling you that you should get your fucking life together as adults and parents. But there's
a lot of that.
There's a scene where the son does something messed up, and the doctor's like, hey, listen, you should do something.
You should,
call an adult about this.
Your kid did
because of your kid doing what he just did.
Have done. We don't want to give it away, but
yeah, we're not going to give anything away here. But she's like, you should call an adult about this, and the parents are like, don't worry about it. He's fine.
The parents just brush off what is actually a really
a huge bad sign,
problem,
big red flag,
indicating that this kid may need not only additional or supplemental or even a little bit of professional help, but also perhaps more effective monitoring on his behaviors.
Yeah. It's dude,
wild.
Let me tell you what. Almost every time this kid is in a scene, it starts with some other person being like, don't worry, I'll watch this kid. And then they're watching grocery
and then inevitably
store,
they don't watch
living room, Grand Canyon. Dude, every fucking time this kid's sitting there and they're just doing whatever, and then the kid just... It's either they're sitting there, not paying attention, and the kid wanders off. Or they're like, hey, stay here. And then they walk away, and the kid just wanders off. You would think after the first fucking time that happened, recently, we just got back from the Grand Canyon, we go to the grocery store, my kid wanders off, guess what? Bring your fucking kid with you when you go pick up the milk, man.
Overall,
what are you doing?
The family dynamic that was happening in this movie is the
crazy.
It was the big thing that I didn't like about this movie. They either were showing too much or not enough. So we don't really want to give some of the major plot points away.
Yeah.
But in the very beginning, you see Kevin Bacon's at work and his boss brings in this young, attractive
young
girl
chick,
who's got a little bit of moon eyes for him. She's kind of into him, and you see that through other interactions later on in the movie. And it's clear that the boss is setting him up so Kevin Bacon can have an affair with this girl, even from this initial scene. And the wife is just the wife is oh, you're home super late. I never get to see you anymore. And he's on a phone call with someone in another room,
in a bedroom, talking about his birthday. I probably can't do anything for my birthday.
Yeah, so they're setting it up.
And she immediately looks and it's crazy because they're setting it up, but you don't. They're setting up with other characters. Kevin Bacon's gonna cheat on his wife. Kevin Bacon at 0 point in time really looks like he's actually interested in it. Right?
Yeah.
He's doing it.
Yeah.
He's having a phone call about a birthday party.
And
right?
we don't
his
know
birthday
who
party.
he's talking to.
We have not even the audience knows who he's talking to, and the wife peeks in and then gets super pissed because clearly he's cheating on her or whatever.
Yeah.
It was
but at no point in time did they ever set up, hey, Kevin Bacon cheated on his wife prior to this moment. right?
Yeah.
Like, we find out later in the movie that, yes, he did have an affair with someone, and we also find out later in the movie that the wife has other issues, too, that are, like, popping up. Turns out she was an alcoholic. These are not major plot points. We don't want to spoil any of those. But this is just a representative example.
It's just a thing. Like, it's sort of like she takes baths. Okay. She's an alcoholic. Okay. But this is the thing. Is she an alcoholic? Or does she just not like to drink anymore?
So the problem is really that in this movie, the dynamics in the family and what's happening to the family as a result of this, like, I guess you could call it haunting, even though they're not technically ghosts. And it's not really possession, because they're also kind of demons, but not really.
Like spirits.
This, like, supernatural woo stuff happening. Yeah, so the problem is that they never let you understand why the family is acting this way, and that it wasn't always this way, or what led them to believe this way. So the wife is, like, super, like, suspicious of the husband, but we don't know that the husband previously had an affair. Yeah. And the husband is like, oh, what are you doing, Bronny? Like, you're drinking again. And we're like, again? Did you have a problem with drinking? Are you gonna fucking tell us? Like, it's like a whole segment of building up the character stuff was missing, and it really Dude, like, it irritated us. It made it confusing.
And it made the family, like, not only was the family like super awkward and honestly like kind of shitty people, but like in the beginning we're just like, okay, like, clearly Kevin, like what are the tropes? Yeah. Kevin Bacon's cheating on his wife has a drinking problem, their daughter's whatever, bulimic. A bitch, or bulimic, or both.
The son is autistic.
And the son is autistic, and you're like, okay, these are the tropes, and then as you progress through the movie, like, we're like, at one point in time we stopped the movie and we were talking, and I'm just like, listen, I think the wife is just, like, genuinely a bad person. Yeah. And Kevin Bacon hasn't done anything wrong. Yeah. And then we, like, kind of, like, verbally went back through... And we're, like, halfway through the fucking movie, by the way, when we did this. We, like, verbally go back through every scene and every complaint the wife has and everything that you see go poorly. And you're just like, yeah.
It makes it look like it's all the wife's fault.
Kevin Bacon has honestly done nothing wrong at that point in time. But it wasn't that was the point. Well, it's just the way it came across.
Well, the problem with this is that's the dynamic, right? So these things are happening, and they're treating these events that are happening with these family members just like kind of being bitchy to each other.
Nonchalantly being assholes.
We find out later in the movie, again, not a major plot point, but we find out later in the movie that that's part of this, like, demonic ghost haunting possession thing, is that it will... The effect of taking these stones out of the sacred place in the desert made it so that the vices and the problems that people had were increased. So the daughter already had, like, a body image problem, and it turns out she's bulimic.
Yeah. And we have no clue how long any of this shit is taking place.
We have no idea.
Whether it's, like, we know the alcohol problem was Grand Canyon.
And we know the affair was pre-Grand
Canyon. But other than that, like, we don't know if the bulimia was pre-Grand Canyon. Honestly, we don't know if they got back from the Grand Canyon and this immediately started happening, or if it was
this could be a matter of days,
later.
Or this could be a matter of months.
Yeah.
So that's like the complaints that we had about the movie.
It's one line. It is one throwaway scene where they're like, all these other times that people have claimed to find the stones, like, their families murdered each other because it brings out their darkness. Next scene, fucking don't address it. And even, like, Kevin Bacon, even the family, even the people in the situation, never really addressed that, like, the stones were exacerbating stuff, because they resolved the situations totally unrelated to the demon shit.
And we
it's
had
nuts.
We had no metric to understand that this stuff was getting worse. We didn't know at all. They didn't tell us.
Pretty bad from the beginning until the end equally.
So that's the complaints that we have about the movie. But here's why the movie was awesome. Kevin Bacon.
That's
first of all. The atmosphere of the movie was fantastic. They really did an amazingly good job at making things feel creepy. Like, every time there was something on TV, it was something old-timey, and it had a weird filter on it, and it was bad things happening. It was like destruction.
It was like nuclear test footage, Scooby-Doo, but like ghost Scooby-Doo stuff.
Yeah.
Or like
Godzilla.
Or like ghost Steamboat Willie Billy shit or something like that. It was always like spoopy ghost shit.
It was always spoopy, and it always had a specific filter. It was always creepy. We only saw the TV after they came back. So that was really cool. They also built up the way that the son Michael was being affected by the spirits very well, because he would just stand there or sit. Actually, mostly he sat in his bedroom and just stared at the wall. The atmosphere in this movie and it didn't really have foreshadowing, but there was some, was next level. Yeah. There were some jump scares. I'm not gonna lie, I literally yelped at a jump scare, and it was like 3 jump scares in a row, and it was one of the second jump scare that got me.
But they did have some good. They did have some good jump scares. They had one cheap jump scare at the beginning.
When they did the reveal for the creatures,
they looked good. And it took a long time, and you never really get a clear. You never get a like motherfucker standing here. Clear pic. Everything's filtered. They do a lot of like filtery stuff, a lot of like atmospheric kind of stuff.
Yeah, there is some effects in it, and the effects are incredibly well done.
The effects are pretty good. Yeah, the effects are pretty good. The son with special needs does a fantastic job. Expressing what's happening, but he really, honestly, maybe says 100 words in this fucking movie.
Yeah.
Real talk.
And if
he
had understood
nothing.
at the beginning, and at the beginning they kind of tried to hint at him being autistic, but it just seemed like he was weird and maybe a nerd.
Well, and they kind of said it like that, too. Like, the parents were very like, he's just a little strange. Don't worry about him.
If we had understood from the beginning that he was autistic, it might be better. This movie might actually be better watching it a second time. Maybe. Because I feel like there was a lot of things that you missed because you were paying attention to something else. Like, at one point in the movie, they look back at some pictures of the Grand Canyon, and in, like, the very far back in a corner, like, behind something, is, like, one of the spoopy ghosts. And you're like, oh my god, I remember when that scene was earlier in the movie! Ah!
Well, there's a lot of... I have never reacted that way to anything. There are...
I feel like he has.
It's not true. There are a lot of scenes where it's not the foreground plot that's being the spoopy stuff, it's the background that's being spoopy, or it's foreground plot shit that, like, I mean, like, literally, this scene's in the trailer for the movie. The mom is like, oh, you're hiding underneath the sheet, and touches it, and the sheet just, like, collapses, and she's like, oh, shit! And then just, like, leaves, and you're like, I'm sorry. You're just gonna fucking stay in that house? Let me tell you what. I come into this motherfucking house, there's a sheet that looks like there's a person underneath it, and I go to touch it, and that sheet collapses.
Ooh, boy, that was creepy.
I will burn this motherfucker down. Like, no question, I don't fuck with demon shit. Like, there was so many good scenes like that, and there was so much, like background shit. You know, like, in reality, the, like, family is going through stuff, main plot, nobody fucking cared about. But the like, subtext of these ghosts doing, like, spoopy ghost shit was really well done.
Yeah.
And like, the CGI for them, and the way that, like, the audience was never ahead of the family in discovering something.
Yeah.
Right? So like, the family would do some internet research. The family would do some internet research, right? And then you would start noticing, like, oh, wait a minute. We saw these two things, right? And, like, we saw them because the family saw these two things. The next thing is going to be this. Which is weird, because if you're keeping up with the family, it was strange that the family wasn't putting, like, 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
The same way the audience would have been putting 2 and 2 together. But at the same time, you know, I mean, I feel like this was a good movie, and I feel like maybe a second watching would help. I think that, like, the throwaway scene that, like, this haunting causes you to have marital problems was real, like, these characters are kind of shit.
You know what,
let's write it away with that.
I totally want to, like, go back and research the stuff that they talked about. Like, they talked about, like, these, like, Indian customs and the Anasazi people, and I know there's a lot of conspiracy theory happening.
I get the strong feeling that was mostly
But I want to understand more about it, because honestly, the movie was fascinating enough that I'm like, okay, bring this information to my face.
It could fare for honestly a second movie with just like another family touching some rocks.
Oh my god, that would be so cool.
And just like kind of like, hey, everybody knows the shtick now. We don't have to waste time trying to whatever. And because some of these haunting movies really benefit from like a second and a third to sort of fill the universe in, because overall and in reality I would give this like 4 out of 5.
Absolutely, I would give this 4 out of 5.
I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely continue to watch this as part of our like horror movie sort of run of movies.
Yeah.
But there were some weird things. Honestly, the way the family acted, especially about and around the son, was like very weird. It was very like, we're not gonna accept that he has autism, and we're just gonna pretend like it's not real.
That's
it's the way it
how
felt,
it felt.
and which is super weird. But there's also like a bunch of little stuff. I mean, like at one point in time, they're like trying to accomplish a task, and they have to basically jump through a bunch of unnecessary hoops that have fucking nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why are we doing this? So there's a lot of like weird little eccentricities.
It felt like there were maybe some things cut out and maybe some things.
Yeah, this might be a cutting room floor sort of issue. Yeah.
Overall, I'd give this 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
To me, this movie felt like Stir of Echoes, which is another Kevin Bacon horror movie.
Yeah.
And is it What Lies Beneath? There's a horror movie that's a Sam Raimi movie that Justin Long did, and it has to do with like the goat demon.
I don't think it's What Lies Beneath, but it might be. Yeah.
If we're lucky, he'll put the answer up here.
I won't.
And it felt like that to me, but it wasn't like funny.
Yeah.
It had gravity to it.
Yeah.
But it felt very familiar, but in a good way for horror movies.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the cast did a really good job. I think that the Jesus Christ, the horror, like the direction in the horror and the use of CGI and the use of filters and like the cinematography for all of it was really good.
Yeah.
I think that this movie suffers from the modern horror sound problems where they sort of lead the scares a little with the crescendo.
Yeah.
But I think that's just. It's easy
but overall,
that
way. The only thing that I really
good.
think knocks it down from being a 5 out of 5 for me is that the dynamic of the family felt odd going through as a first-time watcher. Now, I don't know, maybe watching it a second time really helps that.
Yeah.
But maybe it doesn't. So that's really the only thing that stopped me from giving this 5 out of 5. Because
the family was weird, like very weird the way they handled stuff, and a lot of shit just kind of either didn't go anywhere, or it just like it existed to add a character trait that it's like the wife being an alcoholic. And the reason why we continue to bring this one up is because this honestly has nothing to do with the plot. Like at no point in time is she like too drunk to save somebody or too drunk to like I don't even know that she ever gets drunk. She just is drinking. She takes
like a 3/4 of a bottle of Absolute and did not seem like it affected her.
Yeah, she drinks a lot. Like she drinks a fuckload of vodka. But at no point in time is she like making any mistakes that a drunk person would make, or even like gently acting drunk, which is weird because you would think that could be utilized within the plot. So there's for me it's like these weird plot non sequiturs, and the fact that the family was just like a little fucking insane about a bunch of stuff. But other than that, it really was a great horror movie.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
solid 4 out of 5.
Yeah,
highly
solid 4 out of 5.
Watch this.
You should definitely check it out.
Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Comment below. So like this video, comment below, share this video, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell, do
Tell
the bong, twist the thing,
your
bop it,
favorite Kevin Bacon movie is.
Pull it. Swing it. Bop. You remember that game?
Oh.
Nah, you guys remember that.
Yeah. Tell us what your favorite Kevin Bacon
yeah, what's your favorite Kevin Bacon movie? It's not Footloose. It might be Footloose. It's probably Footloose. But yeah, either way, I've been John Norgrove. This has been Wife. This has been Review Jive. This was whatever the fuck I said this was. The Darkness.
The Darkness.
And yeah, we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Happy Friday.